Although foreign to the spirit of belly dance, many students want and many teachers teach choreography. In this video, I'm going to give you some ideas how to make it less painful. Hi, I'm Kashmir, and over my 27-something years in belly dance, I worked out I've actually learnt hundreds of different choreographies by dozens of different teachers. Now, when I say learnt, I attended classes or workshops, and probably only got about 50 of them down. Myself, I do actually teach choreography. As I said, students are happy with it, it's less stressful, and when you've got a big show on, it's a really easy way to make a show. In fact, at one stage, I looked at what my students could do, and we had something like 30 choreographies that we could pull out of the hat. So I know a wee bit about teaching and learning choreography. Now this video is about teaching choreography. It's not about how to choreograph. Many belly dance students are actually non-dancers. They don't have a dance background and they really don't know how to learn a choreography, and they find it difficult, they struggle. The good news is, for most people, every time you learn a choreography, it should become easier. It does. Each time it becomes easier and easier. But it helps if your teacher makes it even easier for you. So teachers, this is for you. Or students, you could tell your teacher to have a look at it. First up, the technique should be taught separately to the choreography. The first time someone sees a new piece of technique shouldn't be in the middle of a choreography. Now, your choreographies can be used to reinforce technique, and now that I don't do shows, that's exactly what I use my choreographies for. But they need to be taught first. So when you're about to teach a new choreography, have a look, see what technique's in it, think about your students, what do they already know, and those bits that are missing, you need to teach. You may also need to remind people of some of the technique if you don't use it very often. So, new technique, learn that first. The same goes for props. You don't suddenly walk into class and say, "Hey guys, we're doing candelabra. Here, plop this on your head and here's the new steps." Nope, the technique, the props, the dance, they're all separate things, they're all separate skills. Ditto for any tricky footwork. Anyone who's learned any of the reader-based choreographies, yeah, once you get the hang of it, they often use the same sort of patterns, but the first time you go, it's like, where, what? Ooh. Don't have people struggling in the middle of your choreo with the footwork. Teach the footwork separately. Ditto weight transitions. If there's something really weird, like you're going from a hip drop at the front and you're actually moving it around and then transferring the weight, doing the last hip drop at the back and then coming forward, then you need to teach that skill. If you've got an "and" in there that you don't actually bother saying, like, oh yeah, of course, when you're actually going from the back to the vertical circle, you have to go into neutral first. You need to actually teach that, because especially naive students, new students, won't pick that up. When you're teaching something new, and again it does depend on the class, if they're a very experienced class it's not such a problem, but consider taking off the layers. So you usually just go for the footwork. If it's a foot-based thing where you need to be going in different directions, don't have the feet, the undulation, the cane, the shimmy and the direction change all in one go. Take those individual bits and actually work on them. So possibly even teach the whole choreography with minimal layers. So for a beginner class, for example, I might teach the choreography without the walking hip shimmies. And then later on, once I've got the hang of it, add the walking hip shimmies back in. Oh, we're walking, I forgot to tell you. Oh, we're doing a shimmy. Or, yes, we're walking, but we're actually doing a direction change. So keep them separate. One tension you have when you're teaching a choreography is getting the timing, getting the sequence versus the technique. If you start by teaching the technique so they've got some idea of the technique, then what I tend to do is teach the technique, then teach the sequence, and then come back and polish up the technique. Or to be honest, it's more of a sandwich thing. So technique, a bit of the choreography. Next time we come back, when I'll keep a note, those bits, the paddle turns were crap. So then they'll start with the paddle turns, and then they go back through, and so you keep building it. But don't stop it at the beginning for perfect technique, because they're not going to get it, and that means that you'll actually spend a whole year doing the first 30 seconds of a dance. So let them get through and get that feeling of, ha, we made it, and then go, okay, you did make it, but no, those arms at the beginning of the chorus are really, you need to do something with those. And performance face. I know many people have a concentrating face, and they tell you that they won't do that in performance. But do remind people that this is a performance art, and you do need to have your performance face on. Your concentrating face needs to be something pleasant for people to look at. Well, that was my experience. How does that work with your experience? Does it match up? Again, put it down there. Let's start a discussion about teaching choreography to students. Oops, run out of time. So the next video I will look at directions of movement, both yours and your students.